All right, last week we started this little thing. I love Christmas. I love Christmas movies. You love Christmas movies? Okay. Home Alone was one we used last week. We're going to talk about one tonight called The Grinch. Yeah, I like The Grinch. I like The Grinch. It's really good. Look here, I even got the book that I'm going to read from in just a minute. But anyway, we're going to watch a clip before we go any further because I think we're going to run out of time tonight. So we got two good clips I want to show you. But to be listening for the word avarice. Everybody say avarice. That word, the avarice. It means extreme greed or wealth or material gain. For material gain. Extreme greed or wealth or material gain. Do you feel like you're people that are avarice? I think you are. We all have that tendency to be extremely concerned about materialistic and gain. And Christmas is not what that's not what Christmas is about. So watch this video clip from The Grinch, and then we're going to discuss it just a second.
Of course they are. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's always been about. Gifts. Gifts. Gifts, 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 gifts. You want to know what happens to your gifts? They all come to me. In your garbage. You see what I'm saying? In your garbage. I could hang myself with all the bad Christmas neckties I found at the dump. And the avarice. The avarice never ends. I want golf clubs, I want diamonds, I want a pony so I can ride it twice, get bored, and sell it to make glue. Look, I don't want to make waves, but this whole Christmas season is stupid, stupid, stupid. There is, however, one teeny tiny Christmas tradition I find quite meaningful. Mistletoe. Now pucker up and kiss it, who, Bill? Uh-oh. Somebody's fabulous! All right, your turn, Don. Let's go. Excuse me, old-timer. Mind if I wet my whistle? Well, that's some good stuff. Burn, baby! Burn!
It's a good movie. I love that part. Mistletoe, pucker up. All right, we'll reenact that one. But I love the movie. It's just funny. It's about, the Hoovles and their gifts and their Christmas, what it's all about. And it's not about that, right? It's not about that. So look at your sheets there. Everybody has a sheet tonight, right? I remembered them, and I hope you have one. But do you feel like you get caught up in the gifts, don't you? We all do to a certain degree. We're all spoiled. We're all rotten. I'm seriously, a couple minutes. I'm going to point at you, and I'm going to ask you a question. And if you know the answer, give me the answer. Reese, what did you get for Christmas last year? Exactly. What? I can't hear what? A gaming show. You do remember. Good, good. Emma, what did you get for Christmas last year? That's my point. 50 out of 50. If I went around the room and asked you what you have for Christmas, it would take you a minute to remember, what did I get? I don't remember, because you know what? It was probably worthless. And if it wasn't worthless, if you enjoyed it for a second, but you probably don't use it anymore, or if you outgrew it, or all I'm saying is we got to get our focus off of gifts, right? And realize what Christmas is truly about. We all are guilty of it. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just as guilty as you. We live in a materialistic world. But I want to go to the question here tonight. And we challenge you with to ask yourselves, why do we give gifts? Look at your sheets. Why do we give gifts? What's it all about? What do we do it for? All right, let's read a passage in Galatians 4, verse 4 and 4. It says this: "But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. First, because God gave his son. That's why we give gifts. Because God gave Jesus to us, humanity. And the Bible says there, when the fullness of time had come, when God he had a perfect plan of all the history of the world, God could have put Jesus in at any given moment, but he chose a specific perfect time to bring Jesus into this world. At that specific time, at the fullness of time, when all the government was in order and all the situation in the world, he fashioned, organized a social structure for Jesus to be born at that specific time. Exactly when God knew he needed to be born. It also says God sent, at that given time, God sent forth his son, Jesus. And now listen, he didn't just like create Jesus then, right? Because Jesus has always been. Never had a beginning in God form, right? In a man form, he'd never been a man, a humankind, until he was born in that little manger in where? Bethlehem, right? In a stinky manger, and a stable in Bethlehem. Why? To redeem, so that we might receive adoption as children of God, as sons and as daughters. Adoption, okay? Because God gave his son into the world to be a perfect, sinless sacrifice on the cross. That's why he gave his son. That's why we have Christmas. That's what life is about. That's what Christmas is about, is to celebrate God becoming man and God giving his son to us, to redeem us, so that we can be adopted by God. But listen, Christmas isn't just about gifts, it's about Jesus, but gifts are part of it. And the best gift that has ever been given is who? Jesus. Jesus. That's the meaning behind gift giving at Christmas. We give because he first gave. We love because he first loved. Because God gave his son. We can have eternal life, salvation, the abundant life. That's what Christmas is all about. And therefore, every day of our lives, not just at Christmas, listen, gifts are given at Christmas and at birthdays and special occasions, but every day of our lives, we have the privilege and the honor and the joy and the opportunity to give Jesus to people. Right? I mean, at school, during finals, on the football field, in the cheerleading practice, everywhere we go, we have the opportunity to give Jesus to people. That's what we're called to do. And so first and foremost, we give gifts because God first gave his son Jesus. Secondly, we give gifts at Christmas because the wise men gave gifts, right? And what they give? Right, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Let's read Matthew 2, 1-2, and then skip over to 9 through 11. It says, now, after Jesus was born, and by the way, the manger scenes, you see baby Jesus, and you see Mother and Mary and Joseph and the angels, and that's all right. But you always see the wise men there holding their gifts. That didn't happen there. It was like later on in life, like he was 2 or 3 years old, but we won't go into that part. But after Jesus had been born in Bethlehem in Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem saying, where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and have come to worship him. Verse 9 says, and after listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. Verse 10, when they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, listen, and going into the house, not the stable, you hear that? Going into the house, they saw the child, Jesus, with Mary his mother, and they fell down and did what? Worshipped him. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. Because the wise men gave gifts, that's another reason why we give gifts. The wise men came to worship him, it says. They knew the prophecies. There was over 300 prophecies in the Old Testament that Jesus would be born in Bethlehem, and the way he was born, and the fashion he was born, and they knew that. And they were very smart people, probably astrologers, probably Oriental, by the way, from the East. And we don't know, but we know that they were smart, they were intelligent, they were rich, they were wealthy. And when they came, they knew that they recognized Jesus as not just another baby. And that wasn't just another star. This was God in the form of man, Jesus. Okay, so they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy, the Bible says. It also says that they fell down and did what? They worshiped him. Verse 11, the first part that says that. As soon as they entered the house and they laid eyes on Jesus, they fell on their faces and worshiped. Now, no one told them they had to do that. No one said, hey, before you go in there, hey, you might want to fall on your face and worship him because he is like this special baby. No, it was like a natural reaction when they were in his presence to fall on their face and to worship him, which makes me just kind of think about what we do in here on Wednesday nights, and over there on Sunday mornings, or in our bedroom when we have our quiet time, or when we're driving down the road and we're hearing a song or singing a song and we're connected with God, or we're reading a scripture or something somewhere, somehow, and we enter in the presence of God and God just grabs our heart and squeezes. You ever had God just reach your chest and squeeze a little bit? It feels really good. Now, sometimes it's at a conviction of sin, or sometimes just like, hey, I love you. And there's been times where I've been overwhelmed with his presence. And listen, I want to experience more of his presence, don't you? I pray that for you. I pray that you and my family and our church and our people of God will experience the presence of God, to be entered into his presence, and all they know to do is worship him. Because I enjoy that and I love that, and it pleases my Father when I worship him. And that's what these wise men did. They out of reaction to his presence and his glory, fell on their faces and worshiped him. Because Jesus and only Jesus is worthy of that kind of worship. So that's what the wise men did. And what's also cool is that they, out of a natural reaction, and they planned it, I know they did, of course, because they're wealthy men, but they gave gifts as an act of worship. Listen, and we too are to give gifts to God. Anybody got some gold they'll give God, or myrrh or frankincense? Yeah, I'm not talking about those kind of gifts. I'm talking about the gift of our life. I'm talking about the gift of our time. The gift of your resources and your energy and your extracurricular activities and your thoughts and your mouth. We're called to give gifts of ourselves, to lay our lives down as a living sacrifice. Romans 12:1 says, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies, okay, to give your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Guys, every day, now I'm saying this because I want to do it, and I'm not there yet. I want you to do it every day that we are breathing. Everybody breathe, right? It's your breath in our lungs that we pour out, right? We just sang that song. It's the breath in you is a gift of God. So let's give our gifts back to God. Let's give our bodies back to God. Let's give our lives to God. What could happen if just a small group of you and your friends could get on fire for Jesus and start sharing your faith and start giving all that you got every day of your lives to Jesus as a gift? Yeah, you still got to go to school. Yeah, you still play ball. Yeah, you still have friends, and you still watch YouTube videos and all that stuff. But to give your life every day as a living sacrifice. God, whatever you want today, I lay it out in front of you. Here I am. Do what you want. Man, would you want that? I want that for you, and I want to feel that every day of my life. And I beg you to lay down your life as a gift to God every day, like these wise men did. All right, so these wise men, they did physical gifts to Jesus, right? We just said they were gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Say it. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Some of y'all know what those three things are. Somebody got gold on? Any bling bling? Anybody? Any gold on necklace? Anybody? Okay, a few of y'all got some gold. Mm-hmm. Gold is really pricey right now. It's really high. The value of gold is really, really high. So just bring it up here and you can. I'm just kidding. But gold is a symbol here. Look at your sheets there. Gold. I think I put it on there. Yeah. Gold represented kingship and royalty and divinity and wealth. Okay. And so when they offered this gold, it was valuable, and it was a symbol of Jesus being king. Everybody say king. So that's what the gold was representing. They gave frankincense, okay, not Frankenstein, frankincense, right? It's a symbol of Jesus' holiness and his righteousness. Frankincense was a perfume that was made from the tree sap of a tree called Boswellia tree. And it was used, this is what's so cool about this, in doing some research about frankincense. It was used in the Old Testament incense burning in the temple. So when they brought that to Jesus, whether it lit it or not, he smelled it, and even as a young child, he remembered it. Think about that. Let that sink in a bit. What do you mean he remembered it? He was only 2 or 3 years old. He remembered it because he's God, and he smelled it all the hundreds of years before in the temple when they were worshiping with him with frankincense. Isn't that cool to think about? So as a 2-year-old kid, he's like, man, that smells good. I remember that about 250 years ago in the temple and whatever. You know, because that's one of the ways they worshiped him. And so that's what frankincense represented. And myrrh, everybody say myrrh, symbolizes bitterness, suffering, and affliction. Did Jesus suffer? Did he go through affliction? Was he treated with bitterness? Yes. And that myrrh was not a sweet perfume. It did come from a tree sap as well, but it was more of a bitter. And it was used mostly for medicinal purposes, and they used it to preserve dead people. So as a way of prophetic, this is what's going to happen. You know, God knew, Jesus knew. They probably didn't know all that Jesus would go through. but Jesus did, even as a baby, even as a child. So gold, frankincense, and myrrh, they're important, they're valuable, but they're there for a reason. They were given for a reason. So we give gifts at Christmas because of the gift of who? Jesus. That's what Christmas is all about. You know, when I was watching that video earlier in the week of that we just watched, the Grinch going off there, and there's people and screaming at him and hollering at him and pointing at him, and it's stupid, and get a pony so I can ride it and then sell it for glue, whatever. Sometimes during Christmas, I just want to grab people, whether it's at Walmart, Target, Mall, Academy, whatever, and just say, what are you doing? Why are you spending thousands of dollars on junk and on stuff when there's people that are starving? We had 22 homeless people here at our church last night. 22 people that have no home. They have no running water. They can't go anywhere and call that their home. They don't have a bed to sleep in. We provide cots for them. They come once a month on Tuesday night, and we provide food for them and heat when it's cold outside, because they don't come during the summer because they sleep outside. When it's cold, they come and we provide that for them. Can you imagine being homeless? Can you imagine some of y'all were talking there a while ago, where are we going after eating? I ain't going to Chick-fil-A. I'm tired of Chick-fil-A. I'm tired of Zaxby's. Let's go somewhere else. Y'all aren't sure where you're going to go out to eat and spend your $10 on a burger and fries, right? And that's not, I'm not shaming you, but I want you to consider the amount of wealth that we have and the amount of excess that we have in our pockets, in our cars, and in our homes. And can I help you see that a lot of Christmas, we allow it to become about gifts, right? And it's not about that. It's not about materialistic stuff. It's about Jesus. Because we get gifts not because we deserve them and not because we're on the nice list. We should be giving gifts and getting and receiving gifts because we want to point people to Jesus. And we know that Ephesians talks about the gift of God being grace, but it says there that for by grace you've been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It's a gift of God. Jesus is a gift of God. His grace is a gift. So I want to encourage you to show others that you love Jesus this Christmas and in the way you act and respond to this thing called Christmas. So Christmas is about Jesus. Say Jesus, not gifts. And I want to show you another clip from this movie, and then we're going to elaborate a little bit on this clip. So check this out.
Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came.
Somehow or other, it came just the same.
Mr. Grinch!
And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
And he puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas.
He thought,
Doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
Max! Help me! I'm feeling...
and what happened then, well, In Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
I'm going to read to you this out of the book because I want to remind you this is why the point I want to make. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. Christmas means a lot more than just packages and tags and ribbons and gifts. It's about Jesus. And I love that in that movie where you see his face, he gets it, right? You know, he stole all the Christmas, right? That's what happened. He stole all their gifts and stuff. And then the next morning they wake up, they're still enjoying themselves. And he's like, well, how could this be? And he gets mad. And then it dawns on him that it's not about gifts. And he gets it. And it's like he has a heart attack, you know. His heart grows 3 times that night, right, than it was normal. But that's what Jesus does in us, right? When you give your life to Christ and you walk in faith and you live a life that honors him and pleases him and praises him and glorifies him, that pleases him, that glorifies him, and that brings joy to your heart and pleases the Lord that he created you to do those things, to bring him glory. And when we get focused on gifts and focused on the junk and materialistic stuff of Christmas, it takes glory away from our Lord. And I just want you tonight to get it, okay? I want you this Christmas to get it. I want you to realize, when, you know, because let's just be honest. Has anybody, don't raise your hand, maybe already this year you've asked for something and your parents are like, I'm sorry, baby, or I'm sorry, son, we're just not able to do that this year. And you just immediately go, you get upset or you get angry or frustrated because maybe they don't have the money, or maybe they're not available. You know, whatever. What's that big game station that came out not too long ago that everybody wanted, and they tell you about like 4 of them? What? Sorry, that's it. PlayStation 17 or whatever it was, and everybody wanted one, and they couldn't hardly get them, and you know, oh man, I wanted one. You know, what would happen? Would it just spoil your Christmas if you didn't get anything under the tree for Christmas morning? Would it bother you if your parents said, you know what we did this year? We took the money that we were going to buy you presents and we decided to give it to the homeless shelter. We decided to provide rent for some people that don't have a home. We decided to buy jackets or underwear or clothing for people that have nothing. What would you do? Just be honest with me. Don't answer that out loud. But think in your heart, it'd make you upset, would it not? You'd be like, are you serious? But then again, as I'm saying these things, you're like, well, that would be a better use of the money probably, Brother Matt. But deep down in your heart, you all be like, oh, that would be hard. Would it not? I mean, be honest, be straight up. That'd be hard. So Christmas morning, if you woke up, there's nothing on the tree, and your mom and dad said, hey, let's eat breakfast, and let's take this money. We're going to go buy some food for some people. We're going to go take care of some people that have nothing. We're going to buy somebody. We're going to whatever, fill in the blank. Because that's truly what Christmas is about, is helping others see Jesus and see that we love Jesus. So look at your sheets there underneath that quote from the Grinch there. Let's be less concerned and anxious about getting gifts from a store this year. Can you do that with me? Can we be less concerned, less anxious, less about getting gifts from a store this year? Because it's not about what you're getting or what you're not getting. It's about Jesus. And I'll be honest with you, Misty and I, we overdo it every Christmas. And I say we, she. And that's only because she does buy and I don't. I'm the Scrooge, okay? I am. Straight up. Ask anybody in my family, I'm like, we don't need to buy them that. That's too much money. Bah humbug. You know, we don't have time for getting that one. But Molly, we have it on a video of like 5-6 years ago. Misty told Molly that I was buying all the Christmas. And Molly goes, no, Mommy, we won't have anything because Daddy don't buy gifts. And just a couple of days ago, we saw that come up. And she was so upset. You were like 8-7 years old. And just broke her heart because she literally thought I was going to be buying all the gifts for Christmas. She's like, no, we won't have any. But all that to say is we overdo it. I'm not pointing a finger saying you're a terrible person if you get a lot for Christmas and you need to give it to the poor. We give to the poor. We give to the help. We give to the church and stuff. And I want you to do that, but I just want you to change your focus on off of gifts and stuff and junk and put it on Jesus, okay? And I want you to be thinking about how you can give instead of receiving this Christmas. And let's quit being be less concerned, less anxious about getting, and let's be more concerned and more anxious about giving others Jesus for Christmas. Because that's what Christmas is all about. I love it when the Grinch turns the dog and he says, Max, help me, I'm what? Feeling. Oh. So let's ask God to grow our hearts this Christmas. Let's ask God to give us feelings for the needy, feelings for people that don't have what we have. You know, Andrew, Brother Andrew, do we call him that? Mr. Andrew, whatever he is, our children's minister. He collects money from people and he goes and buys several $1,000s worth of toys and clothes and stuff to give to needy families. And so that's an opportunity for you to help people. And that's something that could be very special to you and your family. Just pray about that. Ask your parents about it. But let's be less focused on getting and more focused on giving. And let's ask God to grow our hearts for his presence, like the wise men, and for his love for other people. And again, last thing, let's ask God to give us a new heart like he did the Grinch. Can you do that? Say, God, give me a new heart. Ezekiel 36:26 says, and I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you, and I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh, a new heart. Let's ask God for opportunities to give people Jesus this Christmas, okay?